Hello, people of the world. It is Sunday. It is the Ben Briggs podcast. You are here, and so am I. It's Sunday, people. Holy fucking shit! Sunday, the 17th of December, 2023, and the year is almost over. It's that time of year, people. That magical time of year where you wait around for fucking ages. Queuing for food, having to get up early to get your shopping before the fucking hordes, the marauding hordes of people stampede you as you get your weekly shop, or whatever it is you need for fucking Christmas. It's Christmas time, people. Here we go. I know it could be a lot more, there should be a lot more merriment about this, but it's, nobody ever says, well, they do, don't they? I like Christmas, right? I fucking love Christmas. Let's get this started right, shall we? Hello, how are you? I hope your week's been going well. Anyway, let's get into the first fucking rant of the week. Fuck it. Let's go. I like Christmas, people. I like this time of year. I've just spent an hour putting my fucking ball ache of a tree together every fucking year. I forget how to put it together. You have to hook the fucking arms on, because I don't go for a natural tree, because essentially a natural tree is like me these days. It starts shedding its fucking needles and ends up bald by the time Christmas comes around. That's literally what I'm doing. Shedding my needles in my late 40s. Late 40s is 46, late 40s, mid 40s. Who knows? Anyway, it feels like late 40s. Just spent a fucking hour putting a Christmas tree up, you know, that'll be up for like 3 weeks. That's it. And although it does look, it looks all right. It makes the place look a bit more festive, a little bit warmer, doesn't it? But nobody says how much. People who actually enjoy putting up the Christmas tree and making a big thing about it, it's a fucking ball ache. Even getting the little ornaments and the baubles onto the fucking branches without them falling off like 2 seconds later, that's a ball ache, isn't it? But anyway, this time of year, from someone who likes Christmas, I like it. You know, I like giving presents. That's the good side of it, isn't it? Giving the presents, selecting the presents, ordering them fucking early so they come in time. I've done all that. I've got all the presents I need to get. They're all wrapped, done, ready. Boom. Smashed it out of the park this year. By the start of December, I'd already got the presents. I mean, is that planning or is that planning, people? Here we go. None of this running around on Christmas Eve shit. You can't afford to do that these days, because everywhere you go, it's a fucking nightmare. Just going anywhere near town. My Saturday shop this week, I went up at 7 o'clock in the morning. This is what you have to do this time of year now. With the fresh stuff that you're going to buy, you've got to time it just right. So anything you want on Christmas Day is still in date. I think I've got to go Friday night. That's what I'm going to do this week. Friday night shop late on a Friday. Then I can just hunker down, slam the doors shut. I don't need to go shopping for food. I don't need shit. I can go on a Friday night. The supermarkets will get a delivery in the afternoon. That stuff will be being put out on Friday night. If I go late Friday night, I can get all the shit that I want to get. Cheese, fucking, you know, all the stuff that goes out of date quick. Not that cheese necessarily goes out of date quick, but you know what I mean. Like the desserts, fresh desserts. I want a fucking Yule log. That's what I want. And some fucking double cream. That'll suit me. I ain't a big fan of mince pies, mince meat, Christmas pudding, Christmas cake. The only good thing about Christmas cake is the fucking icing on it. Everything else tastes like shite. It's too rich in it. Mince pies, no, none of that shit. I mean, it's not like, you know, medieval times when mincemeat was some sort of treat. Mincemeat tastes like shit. You know, after you've had Cadbury's caramel, you don't want mincemeat. That's it, isn't it? After you've had Ferrero Rocher, that's what I need to get as well, isn't it? Or a box of Heroes. They never had that in medieval times. They had mincemeat, when an orange, the peel of an orange was a luxury. We're not living in those times anymore. Let's fucking get rid of it. Replace Christmas cake or Christmas pudding with a chocolate Viennetta. I'd be happy about that. That'd be me done. So I've been preparing. I've got to get my food shop right. I've got everything I've got is frozen, like for Christmas Day. I've got the Yorkshire puds. I've got the roast potatoes. I've got the fucking vegetables. I've got the corn roast because I'm one of those fucking vegetarian pricks. So I've got some sort of corn roast to have. I've got it all. Gravy, stuffing, boom. Done. That's all done. I just need my afters. And that's it, innit? And I just don't want to get caught. I don't want to get caught having to shop on fucking Christmas Eve or the Saturday before Christmas. I want to, at least, not have to go out or at least go through town on Saturday because it's going to be an absolute fucking nightmare everywhere you go. It goes crazy, doesn't it? Over Christmas time for one day, essentially, because the shops are back open on Boxing Day, aren't they? You can go at Boxing Day and get some shit that you need. I don't know, man. I don't know. My plans for Christmas have been thrown out a little bit. Oh, I know. A little bit. So let's have some tea. Let's start this. So I have, at the moment, my Christmas Day plans are thrown out a little bit. I have a family member at the moment who's in hospital, and I need to see them Christmas Day if they're still in hospital, which I think they will be. It was quite a big operation, so not to make this all about me, like people do, don't they? As soon as they have a close relative who's ill, they try and garner some sympathy for themselves. That's how we're all going to go out, by the way, in the future, to the fucking tears of our relatives getting sympathy for our own deaths. That's what we're going to do. That's what people do in it these days. Try and get sympathy because one of their relatives died. So I'm not doing that. But what I will say is it's an amazing thing visiting people in hospital and you see what the fucking NHS in this country do. It's absolutely fantastic, the job that they do. And I know they're trying to privatise the NHS and all that sort of thing gradually, aren't they? Everything seems to be being taken off the list of things that you get treated for. But the job that the NHS does, not to get too pandemic-y or banging my fucking crockery or fucking pots and pans together for them, but and I know that those people are doing a job and they get paid for that job. They probably don't get paid enough, to be perfectly honest, but they take the job, they do the job. It's a there's a two-sided argument there, isn't there? Everybody's saying nurses should be paid 50 grand a year, 60 grand a year or something like that. It just wouldn't work out, would it? They do a great job though, and have been looking after my relative very well. You don't realise though, I haven't been to hospital for ages. Actually stayed on a ward and sat there talking to somebody. You don't realise how fucking hot it is in the hospitals. You can see why these superbugs fucking evolve. I went there, I was fucking roasting my tits off. Absolutely roasting my tits off. Sitting next to my my relative, who will remain nameless. Because I don't think they would appreciate me talking about this. But it's you don't realise how warm it is in there. Two, how much you worry about people who you care about, which is a new revelation for me. Having really given a shit about the minimum amount of people in my life. When somebody you actually give a shit about is quite ill and has to have quite a major operation, it's amazing how much you give a shit about that and how much you worry about that. And also, I didn't have a gig on Saturday night this week, so I went up to the hospital on Saturday night. It's not they are not actually in Northampton; they're at a different hospital. So I travelled up to that hospital, and this was kind of like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on Saturday night. So like it was dark. You don't realise how many people's lives are affected by relatives going into hospital. You know, I went there and saw my relative, and that sounds distant. They're quite a close relative. Well, you know, more or less the closest relative you can get. So I think by trying not to say this, it feels like I'm visually or audibly distancing myself from them. But yeah, you don't realise how many people actually on a Saturday night, when most people are at home or out drinking or something like that, are stuck next to the bedside of somebody that they really, really care about. It's quite heartwarming seeing that when you walk in and most people, particularly like it in the section of the ward that my relative is in, they all had visitors and they're just sitting there passing the time of day, just showing that they care and, you know, that they're there for them and stuff like that. It's a fucking heartwarming thing when you walk into a hospital and you see that. That, you know, people's lives are being affected by other people's health, but they're still there for them and visiting them and seeing them and, you know, bringing them stuff and just sitting and helping them either sit up in bed or, you know, get back into bed or whatever. It's, yeah, it's a very heartwarming thing to see. And luckily, it looks like my relative's going to be all right. The operation's been successful, and they're just like now waiting for recovery time, really, which could be a few weeks. So they might be in the hospital a few weeks. So a few more trips up there to see them. Which, but yeah, definitely, like the amount of hard work and just the caring nature of the nurses who come round, and even, you know, the nurses dishing out the meals and that sort of thing, just making sure that they've had enough and, you know, questioning, oh, do you not want your dessert and that sort of thing. It's fucking sweet, man. It is. We live in a fucking privileged country by the fact, I know we pay for the NHS through our like national insurance and shit like that, but we don't have to have insurance like America or countries like that, where they have to have actual insurance policies, and then like, oh, your insurance policy isn't going to pay out for this. You're going to lose your house because you got fucking cancer. It's fucking horrendous, you know. Surely they can make an NHS system pay, but I don't know. There's too much fucking money in it, and that's what they're trying to do with ours. And there's too much money in private healthcare. I mean, you can go private for shit, can't you? Like over here, if you want to jump the queue a little bit. But this has been an ongoing condition for my relatives. So the treatment they've had, like this year, earlier on in the year, and then, you know, and then that treatment worked and then didn't work, and then going in for an operation as well. It's just, you know, the amount of money and treatment that would have cost, like through a private insurance company, like if we didn't have the NHS in this country. Not to get all, you know, as I say, not to get all fruity like we did in the pandemic for the NHS, but it is the best thing. One of the best things about this country is the fucking healthcare, and the fact that, you know, that they give you a standard of treatment that can save lives for essentially a little bit of money out your wages every month. You know, fantastic. But yeah, as I say, the fucking heat though, they must waste a fortune in heating bills. So getting back to that, oh man, it was fucking hot. It was just like, it reminded me of, I went to Chicago a few years ago, and the heating was fucking so high in the hotel, it was making me thirsty. The second time I went up to see my relative, I took a bottle of water, kept it in the car, because I knew I was going to be thirsty as fuck as soon as I came out of there, because it was absolutely roasting. But I suppose it has to be, doesn't it? You don't want it freezing cold like some sort of Victorian hospital when you're trying to get better. But yeah, big up to the NHS and everything they've done for my family. That's fucking, fucking amazing. Anyway, let's get on to lighter subjects. Holy fucking shit. Not make this about me. I hate the people who do that, by the way. I remember seeing somebody post on Facebook, I think it was around the pandemic time, and they had a relative who was dying, and they were like making some sort of post about that, and the relative was in the fucking background, and they're making a video crying about it, and the relative was in bed looking fucking god awful in the background. And I don't know, it just made me cringe, people. That's all I'm saying. It just made me, I just think, why the fuck would you do that? If that was me in that bed, I wouldn't want to be posted around everywhere. Oh, my relative's dying. Have a look at them in the background there. They look like shit, don't they? Fucking hell, Jesus. I don't know. Just have a bit of dignity for yourself. I don't mean the dying person. I mean the person who was posting that fucking post up. Jesus. It's brutal to watch. But there you go. But people do make, they'll go quiet on you, won't they? How you doing, mate? I'm not good. And all that sort of shit. So it's good. It's good to stay positive, people, isn't it? Have some positive vibes out there. And if you've got any positive vibes, fire them my way at the moment. Here we go. This week, after the debacle of last week's gig, yeah, and the stress and the strain and the holy shit, they're gonna cancel me, the pitchforks and the fucking torches. This week's gigs have been fucking beautiful. Who'd have thought that at Christmas time? Usually, although saying that, touch MDF, we're not through the Christmas period yet, are we? We're not through. So next Friday is the big one. Black Friday, as they say. That is not a racially motivated statement. Or one with regards to special offers or deals on electrical goods. It is usually Black Friday for the comedy world is the Friday before Christmas. It's a fucking nightmare. Because most people leave off work. Then because it's Christmas time, they've probably got 2 weeks off or something like that. Or maybe not if they work in warehousing. Holy fucking shit. But they don't have any work for at least a week or something. So that Friday, they've been working all day. They're all excited. They probably leave off work early. They'll go to a comedy show and they'll be fucking drinking as soon as they get out. So obviously Christmas Day is on the Monday. So this Friday, and then they're just a fucking absolute nightmare. It's just chaos. It's Christmas parties, people pissed out of their head, people heckling. It's an absolute nightmare usually. So that is still to come. But this week, highlight of this week for me has been Thursday night at the Charles Bradlaugh in Northampton. Boom. It ticks every box. Boom. 5 minutes from my house. Boom. fucking nice venue. Boom. Fucking good promoters who promote it at the Comedy Crate, Mike and KJ. Boom. Fucking good lineup. Boom. Sold out. Lovely. Everything. I MC'd it. It was fun. I've been going through a stage of not particularly liking MCing. I don't mind it, but I prefer doing a spot, basically. But it was quite good fun. All the acts did really well. It was rammed. There was a fucking dreadlock guy, a white guy with dreadlocks, who was not amused by the fact that I pointed out the fact that he was a white guy with dreadlocks, and that's weird. What do you expect? You know what you fucking look like. You're a white guy with dreads. You look like you fucking sit at home all day smoking weed. You look like fucking Brad Pitt's character in True Romance, don't you? That's what he looked like, a 40-year-old guy, Brad Pitt's character in True Romance, basically just sitting around all day, like smoking weed. He didn't take that too kindly to that, but fuck it, he wasn't going to cancel me. He probably hasn't got the fucking energy to do that. He's too, for a guy who looked like he smoked weed all day, he was very not chilled out about me pointing out the fact that he looked like a guy who smoked weed all day. Dear. And he got a little bit lippy. He was starting to get a little bit lippy, but then somebody else got even lippier. And then my ire was transferred to her a little bit, but and it was all right. But it was a good, fun night down there. It had kind of a Christmassy vibe feel to it, which was kind of nice. Like nice Christmassy vibe. It was Thursday night, so it weren't like a fucking mental weekend or anything like that. But I've got like a few gigs coming up this week, Thursday, Friday. No, what is it? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I haven't got a gig on Saturday night. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we shall see. Wednesday should be nice because it's always nice. Thursday, I've got no idea. I've not done that gig before. On Friday, I've got no idea. I've not done that gig before. So we've got two unknown quantities in there. But we shall see. You know, most of the time, 99% of the people who go out are all right. But, like, there's always going to be some people who are absolutely fucking hammered. And it differs every year. One year, it's been a group of lads. Then it's been a group of women. Then it's been a work do, where they kicked off. Which is an odd thing to do. I mean, like Christmas parties at work dudes, you don't really want to get fucking hammered. Take it from me. In the past. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, past jobs I've had and been hammered at a Christmas party. It's not great. It is not great. You just, that's the worst thing. The best thing about not really drinking anymore is I never wake up with that feeling. Like, I'll have a couple, probably. I might have a couple on Christmas Day with me dinner, or like when I'm sitting there at night. But the best thing about not drinking is not waking up. Not drinking is that a double negative? The best thing about not having a drink is waking up. That's better, isn't it? Is waking up and you don't have that feeling of oh shit, what the fuck did I do last night? The old anxiety of waking up thinking, oh fuck, I was pissed last night, I must have done something fucking wrong. And then people giving you that fucking side glance as if you're a fucking lunatic when you come down. Because everybody, a bit more tea there, because everybody kind of changes when they're pissed, don't they? Everybody does. Either, you know, and that can be dependent on your mood at the time, whether you've got any fucking issues working their way back in the back of your head that fucking come forward when you've had a drink. I know people who have been perfectly reasonable people, and then they have a drink and they turn into a fucking psychopath. So I might have a bit. You know what I might do? I might treat myself to a bit of Bucks Fizz for breakfast. I might start early, have a few early ones, and then cook me dinner about like 2 o'clock, something like that. Get it ready for about 2, and then have it. But this is all dependent on relatives in hospital. But hopefully they might be out by Christmas Day. But you don't know. We don't know yet. Anyway, yeah, it's been a bit of a sort of like weird week, because obviously had the whole thing like going through the stress of a relative having an operation on Wednesday, and then you bang straight on it on Thursday, gigging again. So it's very weird to be in that sort of like, I said to one of the guys who runs the gig on Thursday, I feel nervous for the first time in a long time, for years. I don't really get nervous before a gig, but I get apprehensive. But it just seemed, I think it was because I'd been to visit my relative early. Is that still recording? That's not recording. I'd been to visit my relative like earlier that day, and then came back, and it seemed such a surreal sort of day that when I got to the gig, I was like, I feel nervous, like I wasn't in the kind of like right mindset to be gigging, which is an interesting thing. But then I just sort of like thought about it, settled down, and thought, right, okay, yeah, that's okay. Here we are, we're back in it, amongst it, aren't we? So yeah, it was a fucking fun gig. I love that gig. If you ever come to North up the tree, I don't put any other decorations up. I remember when we were kids, we used to like hang shit from the. Do you remember the fucking chains you used to make of the paper chains? And you'd sit there for fucking hours licking the shit and fucking gluing them on, and then they wouldn't fucking stick. And then you'd hang them from one side of the room to the other, and because you got it so tight that'd snap, and then fucking you had to put it all back together again. Hanging shit from the ceiling. We used to have beams going across it. It wasn't an old house, but those in the fucking end of the 70s or start of the 80s, they had beams across the fucking like thin wooden beams across the fucking ceiling, and we'd pin things hanging off of those, hanging down. We'd go all out. There was none of that. Also in the 80s when I was younger, there was none of this like light at your own fucking house shit, make it look like a fucking runway, or its own Santa's grotto. I drove on the way back from the hospital yesterday. I drove past the house, and every single part of it, all over the front lawn, the whole house was lit up, like with various things. And I thought, how long has it taken them to do? That's what I look at now. I don't think this must be a middle-aged thing. I don't think like, fucking hell, that's amazing, that looks magical, that looks great. I just think, how long did it take them to put that up? Because I have left it pretty much till the last minute to put up my Christmas tree. I've been putting it off for about the last 2 weeks. Just I got it out, and put it to the side. And I thought I'll do that at some point. And I've just been getting up every day, just looking at it and thinking, not today. I can't face fucking doing that today. It's just a ball ache. It's like I'll probably keep it up forever now because it's a ball ache. You have to pack it away. You have to scrunch the fucking branches down again, don't you? So you can fit it all in the fucking box, which is a nightmare because for some reason, none of the branches that come off, you just hook the branches in on various places and it fucking builds a tree. But then you have to like minimize the size of the branches so you can get it in the fucking box again. It's a nightmare to get anything back in the box, least of all a Christmas tree. But I tell you what, it is worth the fucking effort. It does look all right, to be fair. I'm quite happy with it. But there we go. They're full of Christmas cheer here. And I like Christmas. Imagine if something horrendous has happened at Christmas. And every time, oh God, you've got to deal with that shit. And you've got to put up a Christmas tree. Nightmare. Somebody, 18 of your relatives died in a plane crash or something at Christmas. And there you are, fiddling around, hooking the branches in of a Christmas tree that's never going to look real. It's never going to look real. Why can't they? Do they do like just pop-up Christmas trees where you can just hit it and it's fucking all done? People do that though, don't they? I used to know somebody who every year they just used to, I think they glued on all of the shit on their Christmas tree and then every year just covered it over, cling filmed it, and then put it back up in the loft. That's not a bad fucking idea, actually, although I don't have a loft. That is the fatal flaw to that plan. Anyway, what are we on? 31. Holy shit, what have we covered? We've covered the glorious NHS, haven't we? And then moaned about Christmas and how much of a ball ache it is. But there you go. That's it. That's what you get here. Have a good week, motherfuckers. We will be back. I will be back next Sunday, Christmas Eve. Holy fucking shit. Are we doing something special for that? Possibly not. We'll just be moaning about what we've been doing all week and various other things. It's got to be nearly 9 o'clock now. There's a fucking film, Iceman, starting on Film 4. So I'm going to be watching that shit. Have a good week. Try to stay away from the crowds. I hope you get your fucking timing right with all your fresh shit for Christmas. And I shall speak to you next week. Have a great week. Take care.